HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges, some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time, I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges, some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time, I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's loud.
All right. Hello and welcome to another edition of the ONG Strike Zone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, Rattler Nation. Brian Fulford, Kofi Hemingway, Kelvin Rozier. How you doing, brothers? Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you all.
Great to see you, man. Merry Christmas to you, Brian Claus.
Well
Merry
said.
Christmas to my brothers in Rattler Nation.
Amen, amen, amen. We've got Rattler Nation's got a lot to be joyful and prideful about. It's a big show today. This will actually be our last show of 2021. We're going to actually wrap the show up. No show next Wednesday, and we'll come back in 2022 better and stronger than ever, get a chance to recharge and go forward. But we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I wonder what, man, I tell you, every 7 days there's something new that's happening, whether it be within the SWAC or black college football. And you know what? It just always seemed to revolve around the Rattlers somehow. You know, that's just how it is when you're the orange and green. I mean, you know, don't get mad. There's a lot of people that are upset. And so we'll get a chance to talk it out today. Because we are going to claim ours. That's all I'm going to say. You know what? One of the things, fellas, I have I tweeted this out, and one thing I have noticed the past 24 hours have sort of made me realize that very few people read. A lot of people like to read headlines and then they just fire away on comments. Two, very few people understand that you can't claim something that hasn't been given to you. Does that make sense? It's hard to claim something when it hadn't been given to you. But when something's been given to you, you know what? You just be gracious and you claim it. You take it. You say, okay, thank you very much. So the big debate, of course, as we will talk about in this show, the Black College National Championship and all that goes with it. So on today's show, we'll get a chance to not only talk with the head ball coach himself, head coach Willie Simmons will be joining the show at the bottom of the hour. We'll get a chance to talk to him not only about that, but the recruiting. The early signing day was last week, so we'll get a chance to kind of get some analysis of the first batch of new recruits for the new season. And then a little bit of news, a little noise that kind of came out on Twitter about an hour ago, Kelvin? Was it about an hour and a half ago? Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of interesting, I don't know. Anything's possible. Isn't that what KG said? Anything is possible. So, I mean, look, so we'll talk to Coach about that. We also have Mr. Stan Becton, who, it's funny. He put up a little a tweet earlier that said, as he was looking at the debate going on, he put up a little meme of what's the good old guy from Urkel from what's the show that Urkel was on? What show is that?
Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yeah, just a little meme that said, "Did I do that?" You know, he might have done that. So we'll talk to Stan Becton. He works with NCAA.com Digital. He is the gentleman who put the power rankings out that said Florida A&M University, after all is said and done, after the season of work, was the best HBCU football team. And, we'll kind of present some arguments. Maybe he's right. So we'll get a chance to talk to the man himself. And then the one of the hottest shows on YouTube, one of the best voices, one of the brightest new voices in HBCU sports, Scotty from OffScript, will join us, and we'll get his take on all the stuff going on in the SWAC. And this is his. I think Kofi, you've been doing a show with him on a regular, and I think this might be his first full season, first full fall season, and we'll kind of get his take on what he's observed from us, and I mean us fan bases, us sometimes, those of us who get a little wild, and so we'll kind of get a chance to talk to him about the past year. So just want to remind everybody, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on our Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page, MyJBN1. Go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and hit that like button and then hit that bell so that way any and every time that we drop a show, you are notified. All of our shows on the Black College Sports Network, which we are a part of, air on the JBN YouTube feed. Make sure you're following the ONG Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. A lot of great followers there on Facebook, but we need some of you all with Twitter accounts. We need you to go follow us on Twitter. We need to pump those numbers up. So go over and follow us there. And, of course, go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app, MyJBN, MyBCSN, on your Google and Apple Play Store. All right, fellas, so got all of that out the way. Let's talk about that little game, that game that happened. Let's start there. How about, because I think that kind of rolls into all the other stuff. Let's talk about the game, the Celebration Bowl. Kelvin, what are some of your takes on that game? South Carolina State with the 31-10 upset, 10.5-point underdogs, something like plus 320, 325 on the money line if you were smart enough to bet South Carolina State. What's your take on the Celebration Bowl and that performance by South Carolina State?
I tried to tell you. I mean, if you roll the tape from last week.
You did.
I predicted the closest score I believe
You
I
did.
indicated the only reason I didn't pick South Carolina State to win it outright was because Jackson State had the better talent collectively. And so that was the only reason I what I thought would happen happened. South Carolina State is a really physical team. And they don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. Buddy Pugh, he put on the coaching clinic. He said, okay, so Jackson State doesn't run the ball very well. I think they held them to like 16 yards the whole game, rushing. They create big plays off their return game, kickoff, punt. So he didn't kick and punt to them. And he made them one-dimensional. And so from an offensive standpoint, Jackson State couldn't drive the ball. They didn't get the big plays. You know, if you watch their games starting, we're really from our game, but, you know, I would say really the last 5 games Jackson State had, offensively, a lot of that was driven by special teams, jump ball, big plays, like the Southern game, and turnovers. So their defense kind of set them up in great field position. Well, what South Carolina State did was kind of follow what I thought was our blueprint when we played in the first game of the season. Well, you know, I don't know if you can drive the ball against our defense 80 yards. So we're going to make sure that we don't do anything to help you with the field position game. We're going to win that. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to try to limit your offense in terms of exposure and explosive plays potential. And sure enough, you know, halftime, they go in, you know, they gave up the second Jackson State's second drive of the game. They end up scoring, and they got those 7 points. Outside of that, they didn't do a whole lot, frankly. And South Carolina State hung in there. And last couple of drives of the second quarter, they made enough plays to be up 10-7 at halftime. Well, that's in Buddy Pugh wheelhouse. He knows how to play defense, run the ball, takes minutes off the clock, and wait for you to make mistakes. And what happens in the third quarter, second half? Well, you know, you got 2 big turnovers, and they converted those turnovers into touchdowns. So I mean, that's how they win. That's how they compete. That's been his formula since he's been there. Be physical, great special teams, play good defense, don't give up big plays, and wait for the other team to make mistakes, and then I'll capitalize off your mistakes. So, I mean, this was not a game where you could say shoulda, coulda, woulda. For the most part, all right. Jackson State might have got better the first quarter, maybe, but pretty much South Carolina State controlled the game. And because of that, they won convincingly. It was 31-10. So hats off to Coach Pugh. I mean, he's been doing it a long time. I don't think he's been appreciated and got the flowers he deserved. And, you know, he got on the big stage and he showed the caliber of coach he is. And you know, if you look at the NFL and HBCU graduates, players who are in the NFL now, you know, the highest paid linebacker who plays for your team.
Yeah, the maniac. Love him.
He's a South Carolina State grad, and they have several. You know, Hargrove at Pittsburgh, and you know, so the guy knows talent, and he recruits talent. He develops talent, NFL talent. So it was not a surprise. I saw this as a possibility. I thought it would go this way, considering how Jackson State came down the stretch. They weren't blowing teams out, man. They were lucky to win a lot of those games. And therefore, you know, their luck ran out. They got out coached on this one.
Kofi, what's your takeaway from what you saw, the Celebration Bowl?
Get up for the Bulldogs. Everybody get up. Get up for the Bulldogs. No, seriously. Anybody in Rattler Land that has been watching Buddy Pugh pummel us over the years for 14 years was definitely not shocked of how the game flowed and how the game pretty much came out. We laid a game plan. I think the thing that shocked me was, I wouldn't say shocked me. I want to say how ill-prepared Jackson State was for South Carolina State's physicality. It was like they kind of like expected South Carolina State to just roll over. I mean, Dion comes out in the game. He's riding a 3-wheel motorcycle with his shades on the inside of the dome. Okay? So he's got all this extra, it's serious, man. He got all this extra vroom going on. You know, all of this pageantry, Jackson State fans is sitting up in the stands with they blue, they red, like God bless America colors on, and they are just sitting up there like South Carolina State can't possibly beat us. Well, I tried to warn them ahead of time. I was like, listen, you got to play the game. And South Carolina State just simply did not do the stupid stuff that Prairie View did. And this is the thing, like Prairie View, if they don't do that pick six and those 2 turnovers at the beginning of the second half, that's basically a different ball game altogether. They just couldn't hold it together. And then you take Southern University, who had them all the way to the 5-minute mark. They could have won that game. You know, we were 1 block field goal away from being in Atlanta ourselves. So, you know, I think a lot of people just bought into the hype of Dion, and we saw how bad Alabama A&M played against them. So it gave Jackson State some street cred. But the country boys from Orangeburg weren't buying that street cred. You know, they weren't buying it at all. And I think that even if you look at the first game with Alcorn State and North Carolina Central, you saw the difference in the brand of play between the MEAC and the SWAC. And it was not a fluke that North Carolina Central beat Alcorn State at the beginning of the year. You know, all the days off, et cetera, et cetera. North Carolina Central was just more physical. They capitalized on special teams play. And they waited for Alcorn. They believed that up front they could control the line of scrimmage, which they did. It was a typical Buddy Pugh game. I remember Ryan Stanley's first game against South Carolina State. We played them in Bragg. And we scored on the opening drive with Coach Wood. We scored on opening drive. We leading 7-0. Like, oh, we got a little chance. By the time the game is over, Ryan had thrown like 4 interceptions. The score, they bust 44 points on us. Willie's first game against Buddy Pugh. We had that one opportunity to get there. I mean, they just pounded us down the field on the first couple of drives, and they were up like 21. Nothing fancy, nothing extra. They just out physicaled us. We managed to tie the game up, and then right after the kickoff, they do a special teams touchdown. Ryan throws a pick six, and that's like the ball game. You know, just little things like that, but that's a typical Buddy Pugh game. I even went back and watched FAMU and South Carolina State from 2019 in a game that we practically dominated from an offensive standpoint. We're up by over 10 points by double digits. Ryan throws the interception. Fields comes in the game. Now, if you watch Fields, same Fields that was out there on Saturday, drove South Carolina State straight down the field.
Yep.
We're 3 downs and out. They blocked the freaking punt. The second time in the game that happened. Special teams. Then they go in and they got a lead with about like 2 minutes left, but our team did not panic. They had the penalty with the celebration, uncharacteristic of a Buddy Pugh team, but they gave us that penalty. We ended up starting at the 50-yard line with over 2 minutes left and drove the ball straight down the field. And and practically scored. But again, South Carolina State was right there in that game. Now, this year when we played them in 2021 was the first time that I felt like we were more physical than them up front. And so our ability to establish the running game and then, just really in the trenches, we established a high degree of physicality that gave us the opportunity to control the game. We stopped their run. We forced Corey Fields to pass the ball. We got a few interceptions, and we were able to seize control of the game. It was like 27-0. So, should have been a shutout had it not been for our untimely penalties. So I said all that to say I'm not shocked that South Carolina State went into Atlanta and won the game. And this is going to point to a very lively 2022 game between FAMU and South Carolina State. And we all know the epic showdown come Labor Day weekend, FAMU and Jackson State in Miami Gardens again. So I'm looking forward to both of those games. And it's going to have a lot to say about where we're going. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thinking back on, after a game like that happens, you go back and you try to think, where did my analysis go wrong? Or hey, I predicted this, or I thought this might happen. Where did I go wrong? I think the one thing I do recall saying is that you can't allow Jackson State to have big quarters, because going back to Texas Southern, going back to Southern, going back to Prairie View, I think I have the last 3 or 4 games. Even Alcorn State, they have these quarters where they had been feasting on one particular quarter, and they catch you. They catch you. They have slow starts, but in the fourth quarter, like they did Texas Southern, they blank you 21-0. As you mentioned, the Prairie View game in the championship. Other than that, really, it's an even game, and they have that big play ability. So I felt like if South Carolina State doesn't play into that, if they don't turn the ball over, don't make the mistakes that other teams have made, be in the ball game, and then look, Jackson State did. South Carolina State did to Jackson State what they have been doing to other teams, taking advantage of the mistakes. And so it's amazing how that all plays out. I went back and looked at how we played South Carolina State, which was our 5th game of the season, right? And that's right when I think we were hitting our stride, because we had just shut out Alabama State. We had the 3 quarters where we were shutting out South Carolina State. That was Isaiah Land, where he had 5 sacks, 4.5 tackles for loss. Overall, we had 6 sacks on Corey Fields. He threw 3 interceptions. It wasn't like Rashawn McKay had a big game, but we ran the ball down their throat. We hit them with 228 yards rushing. And that is something that Jackson State cannot do, has not done all season. And that's going to be hey, it's great to have Shador. It's great to have all these great receivers. But if they don't go out and address offensive line, and you see, hey, they're getting all these 5 stars, and I shouldn't say all these, but they're getting skill guys. They're getting a lot of skill guys. I'm okay. I got you. But I'm just saying that is their weakness, and they know that. Coach Prime, he's got to know that. He knows that's their weakness, and so, but yeah, I'm just going back and looking and saying, how we played them. We were very tough with them, and yeah, like as you said, we do have to travel to South Carolina State next year. We've got the Orange Blossom Classic to start the season. I think that's week 0 this year. I think they moved it up a week, so it's not necessarily on Labor Day weekend, I don't think.
Yes, it is. We play University of North Carolina in week 0.
Okay, so we turn around after that week 0, so that'll be interesting in itself. So a lot to unpack, and look, it just set up the big debate, because we beat South Carolina State by 23. We lost to Jackson State by 1 at the beginning of the year. South Carolina State rolls Jackson State, and when you look at just in the bubble of those three teams, now don't expand it, but when you look in the bubble of those three teams, the top three teams, it's fair to say that just in point differential, we came out on top in that. And so when you see the article that came out from Stan Becton, who we'll talk about his final HBCU power rankings, and then really when you look at what FAMU's done, I mean, I just did an aggregate, and we'll talk about all of the All-Americans. FAMU is the top. We're practically we're the top in practically all of these All-American boards, if I'm not mistaken. We had the most amongst HBCUs. That's on Box to Row. We had the most among the, hold on, I wrote it down. We had the most among the FCS Stats Perform. We had the most on Hero. So, I mean, all of those things just kind of add up. And so, yeah, there's a reason why there are 4 different teams. Well, yeah, okay. So there you see, hold on. We'll come back to that in a minute, Roy. We'll come back to those. There's a reason why FAMU can say being ranked number 1 in the power rankings is not unrealistic. And I know that's going to drive people crazy because.
Well, people can say, what they want to say. And, the fact of the matter is this isn't the first time we've had somebody voted number 1 if somebody chose us. I mean, you got so many different polls and people have opinions. It is what it is. And guess what? We wouldn't even be having this conversation if Jackson State had freaking won the game. Well, They didn't just lose. They got stomped. They got stomped. They got players thrown all over the field, people getting thrown 50 feet, just all kind of stuff is going on. And I mean, what you want us to say? Y'all wanted us to sit back, Rattler Nation, to sit back and just watch this and be like, oh, no, passively just be like, yeah, South Carolina State, no, we ain't saying South Carolina State's better than us. We beat them 30-7, and that's hard to do against a Buddy Pugh team. That's not easy to do.
Not easy, not easy.
So, no, we ain't finna sit back and just let everybody just sit up there and just give South Carolina State a title when they had 5 losses. They had 2 losses within the SWAC. Had they been in the SWAC, they wouldn't have even been in the Durham Celebration Bowl. So don't bring us that foolishness about South Carolina State is better than us. They lost 2 to Alabama A&M in 2021, and they lost 1 to us by a large margin. Okay. So
let's go to break. Let's get ready to go to break.
Get out of here with that foolishness.
But look, let's get ready to go to break because when we come back, we got the head ball coach.
Why they try Rattler Nation like that, man? Let's just, yeah, we like to argue. Yeah, we like to troll. Yeah, we going off. And we claiming this championship.
FAMU Rattlers 2021 HBCU champion.
Let's go to break. We're back in the next segment. Head coach Willie Simmons is joining us. We'll talk about our national championship and the recruiting early signing day period for the Rattlers after this break. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
All right, welcome back to the O&G to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, and joining us right now, our head ball coach, two-time national champion, head coach Willie Simmons of the Florida A&M University Rattlers. How's that sound, Coach? Two-time national champions.
Well, it sounds good. I'll tell you what, the young men, they deserve it. They worked extremely hard this year, overcame more adversity than anyone could imagine. And so for those guys, for the second time in 3 years, really back-to-back years for us, being that we didn't play in 20, to be voted HBCU National Champs by at least one major publication, again, is a great accomplishment. And we're looking forward to continuing to build this program.
Let's start. A lot of things to unpack, Coach. Not only that, but the early signing day happened last week. Let's kind of start with the Celebration Bowl and what you saw, because obviously we know those two opponents very well. We played them during the year. What surprised you about the outcome of that game, or anything that you took away? How did you kind of analyze that game going into it, and what you saw after it was all said and done, or as it was happening?
Yeah, being that we played both teams, I felt that Jackson would have some struggle scoring against South Carolina State. Obviously a staple of a Buddy Pugh coach football team is going to be sound defense. And Jackson hadn't really been an explosive offense this season at times, but just not consistently. And so I thought that they would struggle scoring, but also thought the same thing on the other side. I thought that South Carolina State would have some problems scoring against South Carolina State. So I thought it would be a low-scoring game. I was really surprised by the explosive plays, the big plays that South Carolina State was able to manufacture. But again, when you get into a championship caliber game, turnovers and special teams is the telltale. And I think those are the glaring things that I took away from the game Saturday was turnovers. South Carolina State was able to force 3, and then some big plays in the kicking game, and that's a lot of times the difference in those type of games.
Mm-hmm. Kelvin,
Coach, I want you to talk about your recruiting class, the guys that you signed so far. How many guys do you think you're going to be able to sign between the early signing period and the regular signing period, and just your philosophy in terms of how do you choose who to offer, when to offer, and how you look at what you got returning and so forth. Just talk about that process.
Yeah, so the biggest thing in today's climate with the transfer portal, with the COVID waivers, is roster management, and really being able to manage your roster from year to year with attrition, guys graduating, guys hitting the transfer portal, the opportunity to bring in transfers, and then the always high school and junior college recruiting. And so for us, we really tried to do a great job of identifying some needs immediately. We lost 4 offensive linemen off last year's team, and so we went out and signed 4 offensive linemen in the early signing period. 3 of those guys being junior college transfers, and then 1 being an FBS transfer, from across the street. And so we filled that need. And then, we signed a couple of defensive guys as well, linebacker, athletic linebacker out of Independence, Kansas, and then, some defensive linemen and secondary guys. And so we still have a few positions of need that we'll identify and try to address before school starts back. Right now, we're in the process of kind of seeing who's coming back and how many mid-year signings we can bring in. And then we'll go into January with the solid plan to sign high school kids, and then maybe leaving a couple of spots open in this next wave of transfers, because after spring ball, there'll obviously be another huge wave of transfer guys, and we want to make sure that we're able to bring some quality guys in if indeed we have spots for them.
Kofi.
Yeah, Hubbard coach. So, just looking at it, there's an opportunity and stuff that hit out there, I want to say, in Twitter land regarding the opportunity to play in Duval County versus Wake Forest, man. So it caused, I want to say, a nice little wave of publicity our way. So just give us that thought process behind that, because I think it's actually genius whether we get in the game or not. But what do you think about HBCUs being able to play in bowl games?
Well, when we saw that Texas A&M had to basically withdraw from the game, pull out of the game last minute because of some COVID-related issues, again, me always trying to keep Rattler Nation in tuned and keep our fan base on the cusp of innovative thinking. And I said, hey, why not? Why not us? That's kind of been the theme all season. That's the title of the ESPN documentary. So why not? HBCUs are even now the only FCS programs that play in bowl games. The Celebration Bowl is a bowl game, just like the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and all the other bowls. And so we're already in that space where we're playing in bowl games. And so if you have, a spot open that's last minute, logistically, not a lot of teams can get their teams back together and travel across the United States. We're 2 hours away. We can get our guys on campus. We can make the short drive to Duval, and we can play in a football game. And so, again, all they can do is tell us no, but we're going to put it out there and, hopefully start the conversation. And because, again, what better way to show, this country that you're about diversity and you're about helping out HBCUs than to allow an HBCU to go into a bowl game and maybe bring in the type of revenue that this game can provide.
I thought it was interesting just is that it's Chris Paul's old school. So, just the
I didn't
mere
think
fact
about
that
that. I might need to reach out and see if we can make a couple of phone calls.
Yeah, you need to call Chris and see if we can get in on that $5 million. See if we can go and make that happen. But yeah, man, this is Chris Paul's old school. He produced a show for us. That would be a great way to close out 2021 going into 2022 in a major way. And we have a ton of players from Duval County that would benefit from being able to play. We haven't played in Jacksonville since 1998, I think. 98. It's been way too long, and it's an obvious, I want to say it's an obvious opportunity for us to be able to tap into the Duval market, and hopefully those people can make that transition into Bragg Stadium in the fall.
Well, I think one thing for them as far as the bowl, I mean, not many teams you'll find that will have the fan following that we will. You announced that FAMU is going to Jacksonville to play in the Gator Bowl, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. I mean, Rattler Nation is going to show up. I mean, we're coming from all over to come to that game. And so it will be a great opportunity, for the city of Jacksonville. I think it will be a great opportunity for the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, for ESPN, because of the exposure. Even you look at the Celebration Bowl has outdrawn every other bowl up to this point, as far as viewership. And this bowl would be even bigger than that, So, again, just the ability to have our eyes on the TV screen, to have our dollars in the Jacksonville economy, again, would be a great opportunity for all parties involved, in my honest opinion.
That game, I was just looking up the date on that just in case people didn't know. That's December 31st is the scheduled date of the game, because I actually didn't know whether it was one of those post-January 1 bowls or it's before, but December 31st. I mean, that's a compelling argument, Coach. Everything you said made sense. I mean, logistically, is it realistic? Let's just say all things are considered. You said you could, in terms of pulling people together, is it realistic that you can pull enough guys back in together and be able to make this thing happen? I mean, this be real.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game is the 31st, which is the next Friday. So today is Tuesday. So you're talking about, basically 10 days before the game. So if we get the word, tomorrow, say that we're in, my team will be back in Tallahassee in short order. 90% of my guys are from Florida. We have the rest are from Atlanta, and then we have a couple of guys from New Orleans and the Savion's DC. And so again, I mean, it would be no issues, and those guys would be so excited. Some of them will catch the Greyhound, the Martyr. They'll jump on a bicycle and get back to Tallahassee if they know they had a chance to play one more football game this season, particularly in a major bowl game, on national television. So logistically, it wouldn't be an issue for us. And then again, it wouldn't be an issue for us to keep our guys on campus for a few days, practice, and then make the short trip down to Jacksonville and prepare for the game. So, like I said, this is a unique situation. And so again, whenever you have something that's never happened before, hey, why not shoot for the fences and make history? And this would be historic for not only Florida A&M but also the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, because we would officially become the first HBCU to play in a major bowl game, particularly one that's around New Year's.
Yeah, no, for real. That all makes sense, and that'd be a little bonus episode of Why Not Us. A little an extra bonus edition. If you didn't get enough from the first 8, here's an extra bonus episode that we could throw in there, and definitely against Chris Paul's old school. We might make a call to LeBron and say, hey, LeBron, let's get your team, your school. We get your school in it as well. So a lot of positives there. I want to bring it back to recruiting here for a moment. Now, with the JUCO offensive linemen and the FBS transfer, or just in general, how many of those guys are that you hope or plan on being enrolled for the spring, that would be able to start taking classes and being able to participate in spring workouts?
Oh, well, all of them. Every guy that we signed in the early period, we anticipate them being with us when we start school in January. And so that's the advantage of the early signing period. That's the advantage of JUCO recruiting. If you can get a guy that is able to get his AA degree in December, and then he's able to start school in January, because obviously spring ball is a critical time for us, particularly when you're trying to address immediate needs up front at the quarterback position. Those positions that are sometimes hard to come in, in the summertime and even in August to be able to play. And so we're very excited that we'll be able to bring in at least 4 mid-year offensive linemen, a mid-year quarterback, mid-year linebacker, mid-year defensive end, and again, even some high school guys that may be able to come in mid-year as well. So again, very, very strong class that we feel we put together. And we're not done. There's some other spots that we're going to fill, and we're right there in the mix with a lot of really, really good players, in our opinion. And we just got to close it out, finish it up. But again, very, very promising class that we feel we're putting together, and it's going to continue to strengthen this brand, strengthen this roster, and give us a chance to be right back in the thick of things next year.
Before I toss it to you, Calvin, Coach, I wanted to ask you if you could maybe share a little bit of the recruiting insights there with Jeremy Musa. I think if I'm saying his name correctly, young man, quarterback, transfer from Vanderbilt. A lot of people buzzing on the message boards and on the Twitter about him, looking at some of his statistics coming out of San Bernardino Community College, I believe, even high school. What can you tell us about Musa, and what was it that you liked from him in the recruiting process?
Well, by NCAA rules, because he's not officially enrolled, I can't speak on him per se. Just know that, again, at the quarterback position, we wanted a guy that was able to come in and compete with Rashawn right away, and bring a veteran guy in that's has some experience at the collegiate level, that's been productive, that can throw the deep ball really well, that's really intelligent, and can handle all the things that this offense requires at the quarterback position. So I'm not saying that that's this young man, because I'm not speaking on him. I'm just speaking in general on what we were looking for. And, so again, that was the criteria. An older guy, a guy that, again, has that pedigree, very intelligent, hard worker, and everything, once we start making calls and asking around about guys and getting recommendations, the feedback that we received was very positive, that boxes were checked. And so we're looking forward to a great, not only quarterback competition, but competition across the board. At the offensive line position, we're still looking to bring another receiver in, defensive line, linebacker, secondary. And so obviously competition makes us better. And so the fact that we're able to bring in quality guys to make sure that the guys who did play this past season don't get complacent, and that they understand that our job is to continue to push them to put the best product on the field every Saturday. I think it's going to continue to strengthen this football team. So we're excited about the depth that we're building, and we feel like we'll be able to really go in and compete with everybody on our schedule next year because we're putting together a roster that's complete from top to bottom.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and I apologize. I probably should have asked that question was going to be my first question, but I sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, Kelvin, go ahead.
Coach, so the other big news that happened was, of course, the #1 recruit in the nation signing with a HBCU. And along those lines, you had Hugh Jackson hired at Grambling. And there's been some really high-profile coaches as well as players who are now open to HBCUs. We had Thibodeau, who will probably be the top pick in the NFL draft. He ended up going to Oregon, but on our campus and visiting and so forth. Talk about being right now in HBCU landscape and the notoriety. You know, you talk about ESPN following your team this year. It just seems like a lot of buzz, and that, you know, the world is really receptive and really looking. There's a real opportunity for HBCUs. Have you noticed that? Do you see that? And how do you leverage that so that it's just not a one-time thing, and perhaps we can really change the culture of collegiate football closer to what it used to be?
Yeah, I think it's great. First and foremost, you know that you know, a #1 player in the country, top 5-star recruit, would go against the masses, you know, and upset the establishment, so to speak, and sign with an HBCU. You know, the realization that you can achieve all of your goals at an HBCU just like you can at a Power 5 school. I think that reality is really starting to take shape. And I think that's what it boils down to. You know, there's been an awakening. The one thing we can say about this generation is that they're a lot more woke than we were, you know, growing up. I was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, you know, had scholarship offers from every school in the Southeast and many of the schools across the country. I grew up 20 minutes from FAMU. My mom was the first in her family of 5 to go to FAMU, and my godbrother played for Coach Riley. My godmother, you know, basically had every scholarship lined up in the world to get me to FAMU. And it was one of those deals where, honestly, I didn't consider it. You know, I always kind of had it in the back of my mind, like I would transfer back, but I wasn't going to sign out of high school. And so this generation has a lot more awareness to the realities than we did. You know, and so I think it's great. I think the important thing for us is to continue to ride the momentum as coaches, to shoot our shots, so to speak, and not be afraid to contact the #1 player in Florida, the top 50 player in the country, you know, and not just even in Florida. I've had conversations with young men, you know, top 100 players in the nation in the Northeast, you know, states such as DC and Philadelphia and, you know, Chicago and LA and places like that. And the FAMU name is resonating. And so for us, it's about continuing to leverage you know, the relationships that we have and continue to put a product on the field, continue to build facilities that show these young men that all your dreams can come true. I think that's the important thing. You know, when Kayvon Thibodeau visited our campus 4 years ago, and I'm very candid about this, and I shared this with Rattler Nation every time I went to speak. You know, we took Kayvon through every inch of FAMU's campus. He had the time of his life. You know, the one place we didn't show him was our field house because we knew that the #1 player in America, you know, had been to Alabama, been to Florida State, Oregon, Florida, you know, USC and those places. And we didn't have a field house. We didn't have lockers, a weight room, a training room that we felt confident showing him, right? We wanted his lasting impressions to be our business school. We wanted it to be Lee Hall. We wanted it to be the bowling alley, you know, the rec center, all of the top-notch facilities that we have, but we didn't want to show him the locker room. Fortunately for us, over the 4 years and now that VP Gaucher has come in and really, you know, transformed the landscape of FAMU athletics, and our alumni base has really gotten behind us. We now have facilities across the board that we're not ashamed to show. You know, we've had 4 and 5 stars coming through our campus all last summer, and they went away impressed. And so for us, that's what it's about. It's about giving these guys the opportunity to see, to touch, to smell, to feel like this is a place where I can accomplish all of my goals. That's really what it boils down to. Kids want to be taken care of. They want to be coached. They want to have the resources and the amenities that they feel will give them the best chance to be successful. It's no different than a 4.0, uh, 32 ACT, a 36 ACT, perfect score SAT student choosing to come to FAMU over an Ivy League school, which we had just recently, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing. When they come to campus, they want to feel that they can accomplish their goals at this place. And if we can give them that feel, that we can show them the love and the resources that we have that can get them to the next level, then I think we'll see more of those young men, again, continue to go against the norm and come back. We're not going to get them all, but we're not trying to get them all. We just want a level playing field where a young man coming out of high school feels that if he has offers from Power Five schools, Group of Five schools and HBCUs, that he can consider all of them equally, put everything on the table, and give himself the best chance. And if he chooses to go to an HBCU, then maybe he won't have the backlash that Travis Hunter had from the naysayers, from the major media outlets, that tells this young man that he made a poor decision. Like, that's what we got to get out of. I mean, he made a decision that was best for him. I commend him. I admire him for being bold, and I think that's going to open the door for other young men to take that bold step next.
Kofi.
Absolutely. Coach, we've had amazing hashtags. I think the last one was Leave No Doubt for 2021. So what has the Lord released to you the hashtag for 2022?
He hasn't yet. Obviously 2019 was Fight to Finish. 21 was Leave No Doubt, and they both again resonated very well with Rattler Nation. So, it's one of those things where sometimes you say, okay, do we keep the momentum going, and do we make this consistent with everything, the university, the athletic department, the football team, kind of like Prime has done with I Believe. I mean, their university has adopted that hashtag, right? So it's not just a football team, it's really everyone. So I don't foresee him changing that going into 22, right? The I Believe is kind of their rallying cry. So for us, maybe we keep it, because again, when we came out with it really in 2020, the idea was to leave no doubt that we were the best team, right? We were leaving the MEAC last year in the MEAC, going to be transitioning to the SWAC. We had this same conversation that we're having now about who's the true national champion, because we weren't able to play in the Celebration Bowl. And so we said going into 20, we wanted to leave no doubt that we were the undisputed national champions. But we didn't get a chance to play in 20, so we carried that over into 2021, But for what FAMU is and what it stood for 130 plus years, I think Leave No Doubt is perfect, right? Again, we want to leave no doubt that we're the number one public HBCU in America, right? We want to leave no doubt that we have the best marching band in America. We want to leave no doubt that we have the best football program in America, that we have the best fan base, right? That we're the team that with only LeBron James school in America. So we really are leaving no doubt that FAMU is a special place. And so again, it's so fitting to everything that we stand for. And so if we come up with one that's just as catchy, that's just as fitting, then maybe we'll go with that one. But again, I think Leave No Doubt really does speak to where we are as a university, where we are as a fan base, as a band, as a football program, as an athletic program department overall. So I'm just excited to be leading this phenomenal program at this time. And but again, I'll sleep on it, I'll pray on it, and then maybe the new year, the good Lord will drop something else on my spirit to hashtag it for 22.
Shondo, Coach, I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it.
I'm sure you got a couple up your sleeve that you'll be shooting to me over the next few days anyway.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, let me get you out of here with this, because as alums, we're alums, and a lot of alums are watching us on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And so, we watch football, and so when we see talented recruits, potential Rattlers out there, whether we saw them this past fall at the various high school games that we go to, or we see their clips and we see their stats, what's the best way for alums, us, to reach out to the coaching staff, the assistant coaches, to let you all know about a young, without sort of being I hate to use the word pest, but just without overbearing, just being overbearing. How do you want us to communicate people that we see to you and your coaches? What's the best route? What's the best way to do it?
Well, again, that's always challenging for us. Obviously, being coaches, it's our job to go out and try to evaluate as many young men as we can. And again, people see players all the time. Everyone sees a player that they feel will help this program in some capacity. And sometimes, we forget that our numbers are limited, right? That we can only sign so many guys. But if there's a young man that we feel or that someone feels fits our criteria, what we're looking for, can elevate and grow this program to the level that we envision, then, again, just reach out to our recruiting coordinator. That's Daniel Lemke. It's daniel.lemke@famu.edu. Again, that's daniel.lemke@famu.edu. He's our recruiting coordinator. And then again, if you can send that huddle link to him, I think it's important that you send as much information as possible, any stats, any measurables, verified track times, all those things that help in the evaluation process. And again, I think it's just important that people understand that for us, our eye is the number one evaluator. That we have to look at the film and we have to feel that he checks the boxes that we're looking at. And then, we go to the fact finding mode. So we're calling high school coaches, we're calling guidance counselors and people involved in the process. And so a lot of times I know there's some frustration, because you recommend someone and we don't either take the young man or necessarily follow up the ways you think. But again, it's because we either have guys already that we've been recruiting for a very long time that we know more information about, that we have a little bit higher rated, or we just don't have enough to really say, okay, this is someone we need to go get. There's a changing of the guard. It's just the reality of it that when I first came to FAM, there were a lot of guys that we were recruiting who we had to beat some Division II teams on, and maybe didn't have many other offers. Well, now we're in a we just talked about 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits. Like, these are the young men that we're recruiting now, right? I mean, we're recruiting a higher caliber student athlete. And so it doesn't mean that we won't sign a guy that's a diamond in the rough. But in the age of 247 and rivals and summer camps and all those things, it's hard. It's hard to be a Jerry Rice. It's hard to be a Walter Payton, one of those young men who kind of slipped through the cracks that no one knows about. It's very tough to do so because there's just so much information out here for them. So it doesn't mean that, when you call us and say, hey, this guy, we feel he's a good player and he has no offers from anywhere else, it doesn't mean that we won't recruit him. It means that we're going to try to find out exactly why, right? There may be some reason why this talented young man kind of in the middle of nowhere has no offers from anyone. And, a lot of times that may come down to character. Many times it comes down to grades. And so just understanding that, FAMU has extremely high admissions requirements. So if a guy is below that requirement, we can't touch him. No matter how talented he may be, we got to make sure he can get in FAMU. And we only get so many exceptions per year. And so there's just a lot that goes into the recruiting process. I know it gets frustrating at times. I know people feel sometimes that we as coaches don't really take their recommendations, as much as they would like. But we do the best we can, right? We're on a staff of 11. We recruit the entire state of Florida, entire state of Georgia, Birmingham, Mobile, New Orleans, and even outside of that, so we're trying to comb, a large area with 11 coaches, and that's very, very difficult to do. And so just bear with us. Again, we're doing the best we can. We feel like we're doing a really good job in recruiting. And, but if anyone has one, forward them to Coach Lemke, and we'll make sure we get them evaluated and see if we can get them to the hill.
Yeah. And Coach, you go ahead and shoot Kofi a text. Let him know how much money we need to raise so we can add to that recruiting budget. I see these other schools out here hiring recruiting staff, assistants from other schools. You let us know what that number is so we can start the campaign. We'd love to be a part of that. You just send them. You don't have to put nothing out here now. You just send Kofi a text, and we'll go ahead and get to work.
if we get this Gator Bowl invite tomorrow, that'll take care of a lot of it. So,
Yes, sir.
but,
Yes,
no,
sir.
it's it does take money to recruit. That's one thing that's for
Yes.
sure. It takes money to hit the road, and so but again, I do have to give my shout to Rattler Nation. The strike tour last year was unbelievable. We were able to raise $500,000, in just funds that were significantly needed for the football program, the basketball programs, non-revenue sports, and a lot of the things that are happening on the Heights of Seven Hills is a direct result of the commitment that Rattler Nation has made to athletics. And so we're extremely excited about it. Again, we're going to continue to do so. We have to ask. It's not easy to ask. We don't like going to ask, but it's needed because obviously we can't run a successful program without the revenue and the funds to be able to do so. We got to hire and retain good coaches. We got to have the latest technologies. We need nutrition for our young men. I had a transfer student athlete just this past week ask me that very question. Coach, what does your nutrition look like? He's coming from a group of 5 school, and he wants to know what type of nutrition he'll have if he so chooses to come down to FAMU. And so we have to make sure that we have those things in place for these young men to again, make them feel that if they come to FAMU, that they can accomplish all of their goals. We believe so, but we have to have the visual representation to show them that as well. So continue to support. Again, follow me on social media at HC Willie Simmons. Let's burn up the tax slayer people right now. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's continue to upset the establishment because we are claiming national champions because we were voted national champions. We ain't make it up. ESPN said we're the best team in black college football. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at ESPN. And if you're going to do something about it, do something about it on the football field next year.
Call to action, Rattler Nation. Call to action. Coach said, blow them up at Tax Slayer Bowl. Get on it, Rattler Nation. Let them know. Why
Hashtag don't be mad. Hashtag
exactly.
Bust that ass.
I told you Kobe got a
Hashtag
buck. I told you he got a whole wallet full. He gonna keep them coming.
Hey, Coach, thank you again. Thank you for all you've done and helping us. We appreciate you. Always here to help support the program any way we can. We wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll talk next year, I'm sure, and definitely heading up to recruiting signing day, which will be in February. So I know we'll talk by then. All right.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. And as always, go Rattlers.
All right. Absolutely. Go Rattlers. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll be back after this break. We talked to Stan Becton from NCAA.com, and that'll be interesting. So stay tuned. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant. Authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell them I'm hungry.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway. Joining us now, pleasure to have on the show Mr. Stan Becton from NCAA.com. Digital and media, what is it? You're digital and media journalist, writer. What's your full title with the NCAA.com, Stan? I want to make sure I get it right.
Yep, so I'm on the digital editorial team with NCAA, so that's through Turner Sports. And with them, this entire past season, been a beat reporter for FCS football and HBCU football.
Okay, yeah. And so anybody, if you've been paying attention on NCAA.com, you guys have really, hey, congratulations, because first off, I love what the NCAA.com has done in terms of increasing its coverage of not only just FCS, but then the HBCU games as well, and just the teams and everything that went into it. And so we'll get into talking about that. You've been overseeing throughout the course of the entire season the HBCU power rankings, but just let's start with a little bit of your background in terms of how you came to this role with the NCAA.com and just your background in general, to give people a little background on you.
Yeah, so I started this role with the NCAA actually as an intern. I got a internship while I was in college with them, and then upon graduating college was able to get this position that I'm currently in. So that's how I got it started with the NCAA. And then while in college, I was doing work with my college, and I also was doing work as a beat reporter for a different website on the Kansas City Chiefs. So got a little bit of experience doing things like that. Also played football myself 4 or 5 years in college, won 2 conference championships during that time as well. So that's a little bit about myself.
And where'd you graduate from? Where'd you play at?
Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And you were a what was your position? Receiver, defensive back, quarterback?
Defensive back, cornerback. Yep, okay. Cornerback.
Okay. Yeah. Just a guess. I haven't met you in person, but I'm just kind of sizing you up by frame wise. I'm figuring either skill position or quarterback. One of those two areas. Yeah. So tell us a little. Let's kind of start with the. Just the overview. We'll kind of start with the Celebration Bowl and your coverage of what you've seen from South Carolina State and Jackson State as you've been covering these teams all season. What about the game or the outcome surprised you as you saw it unfold?
So really the biggest surprise that I saw from this year's Celebration Bowl was really the inability of the Jackson State offense to get anything going at all. Typically, throughout the season, they would have their rough patches, but they would be able to find that one play, whether it was to Weidman on the outside for a big play, or even if you saw in the SWAC championship, they were able to get the running game going. So that was the biggest surprise. They weren't able to get anything really going outside of really one drive the whole game. But the performance of the South Carolina State defense wasn't really that big of a surprise because throughout the MEAC, they were a dominant defense. They played well against Jawan Carter and Norfolk State, and that was one of the best offenses, I think, in all of HBCU football outside of maybe Alabama A&M this past fall. So South Carolina State's defense did their job, and it really was the defensive line, I think, that had the best job in that Celebration Bowl. I don't know if you guys could see it on the live stream on ESPN or whatnot, but they were in Shador's face almost like every time. They were right there. If they weren't hitting him, they were making him have to get rid of that ball quickly, especially with that Jackson State offensive line, which I think is their weakest unit on that team. So that really was what I took away from that Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, we have history of seeing South Carolina State defensive linemen harass quarterbacks, especially our FAMU quarterbacks over the years. We've seen a lot of it. Kelvin, go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to talk about the NCAA.com and specifically your platform in terms of the HBCU coverage specifically. I'd like to know, prior to you taking this position, how much you followed HBCU football, and then in doing your job this year, what's your overall takeaway in terms of the product, the competition? There's a lot of buzz, a lot of things happening with HBCU conferences now and so forth, and just what you can share about what you've learned over this past season.
Yeah, so prior to taking this role, I did follow HBCU football a lot. More recently, as I was in college, not really growing up as much, just from lack of exposure to it. But once I got into college, my college trainer, he actually used to play quarterback at Prairie View A&M. So that's how I really got into following HBCU football from there. So following it over the past few years, especially having a couple of friends who went to NCA&T, so being able to follow it through them and that way, and always staying up to date with it. And then as far as increasing the coverage this year, it was really just something, me being a black male myself, just seeing that it wasn't really being covered on a national level at all. I know ESPN was doing a little bit of things here and there with the undefeated, but even that is like they're having it on their side website, so to speak, not anywhere on a main platform. And I saw with NCAA.com that, especially with as I was increasing FCS content, that HBCU football is really different than the FCS in general. You have all the different things you have, whether that's the bands or even the fan following. It's a unique experience, and I think that deserved its own place. So that's really why I tried to get that to be covered in the way it was, and kind of having it getting increased coverage this year.
Yeah, Kofi.
Hubba, man, did you receive any death threats after you posted your posted the poll and everything? We just want to know, because Rattler Security can get all on that, man, and see what we can do to make sure you're safe. But how much negativity, how much pushback did you receive after your poll? I'm sure it got quite active.
Yeah, so actually I didn't receive as much as you would think. A lot of it was really centered in the FAMU football official Twitter and Coach Willie Simmons. I know he was just on the show, in their comment section. So that's where a lot of it was, in their comment sections. And so it really avoided me, but I did have a couple of comments. One or two people were trying to ask, like, how much did you really follow this season? I'm like, well, here you can see we followed it on NCAA.com the entire season from start to finish, so you can kind of check it out. And yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
Good, yeah, man. We love our team, obviously, but just going forward, what games are you looking forward to? I want to say in 2022.
Well, first has to be the MEAC SWAC Challenge again. I believe that's Howard and Alabama State. Excuse me. Of course, Alabama State has a new head coach this year, and Howard. I saw they just got Edgerrin James's son as a recruit this year as well. So that should be an exciting game. I think they'll be pretty evenly matched. None of them are kind of too overpowered, so I think that should be good. And of course, the matchup between Jackson State and FAMU to start the season, I think that one should have a little bit more scoring than they had this past fall. I would like to think, especially with both quarterbacks having a little bit more experience, so I think that game should be another good one.
Awesome. So Stan, obviously, look, going into the Celebration Bowl, it's we understand ESPN is their event. It's the conferences come together, and they promote it as the Black College National Champion will be crowned. And so, but this was a unique year in that the top two teams, well, only one of those teams was ranked as one of the top two teams. And South Carolina State, with coming into the contest, just one game over 500. I mean, had they lost the last game of the year, they literally could have come into that game with a record of 5-6. So, I mean, just for the sake of purposes, we were all rooting for South Carolina State to win because we did not want to have a team go into the Celebration Bowl with a 5-6 record. So, with all that said, see what happens if we root for you, and then all of a sudden you go out and win, and now you give us anyway. So I mean, look, the Celebration Bowl, and the fact that it is coined as the Black College Championship game. And then when you have your power rankings and you see what other sites, whether it be Black College Sports Network or HBCU Pro Sports Media, other sites that go off script, for lack of a better word, from what is being publicized, what's your thought on the crowning a national champion among HBCUs, just as you've observed it here in the last week or so?
Yeah, when it comes to crowning a national champion among HBCUs, I think it's not a playoff system created, right? So we saw when it was back in the FBS, back when they used to have the BCS for their kind of system, that did create a championship game, but at times you would have undefeated teams. You would have teams like a Boise State that still would have not felt that they got a fair shot to necessarily be a national champion. And then even before that, you had multiple teams claiming national championships. So that's a little bit of why the BCS was created. And you can see that same kind of ideology coming around with the Celebration Bowl. However, like you said, this year was a unique case with you have Jackson State, Florida A&M, they're both ranked nationally in FCS polls exiting the regular season. And then South Carolina State, like you said, if they would have lost that last game, losing record entering the game. So actually, for me personally, when I was making these power rankings, I had Jackson State number 1, FAMU number 2, and South Carolina State, they were all the way at number 6 heading into that final week of the regular season. So there's like a little bit of movement that can happen between then and the Celebration Bowl, but not that much movement. So that's kind of how I see the rankings, because when it comes to an HBCU National Championship, without a playoff system, you can't always get a true champion unless every team gets a fair shot at the end of the season, because what you do in the beginning of the season might not be reflective of how the end of the season kind of plays out.
Mm-hmm. No, hey, well said. And I thought as you wrote here in your comments, as you were breaking down, and of course the final rankings with Florida A&M at 1, South Carolina State, as you said, went from 6 up to number 2. Jackson State fell from 1 to 3. And then the rest of the top 5 concluded with Alabama A&M and then North Carolina Central. But as it relates to FAMU, you did make note that Florida A&M played well against the other two teams in consideration, Jackson State and South Carolina State, losing by 1 point to Jackson State, blowing out South Carolina State, while at one point leading 27-0. and that sort of, you kind of felt that even though despite FAMU losing in the first round of the playoffs, did you kind of feel like going into that contest, it was either going to be Jackson State or FAMU? Did you kind of have that feeling going in?
Yeah, those were clearly the two best teams in HBCU football this year, Jackson State and FAMU. In that first game, it was 7-6, and not much offense on either side. Both teams had great defenses all year, so that's really a push. And what it really came down to in deciding who got that number one spot was FAMU. They were up 27-0 in the third quarter. It's not like South Carolina State possibly had a lead early in that game and then FAMU just ran away with it. No, they were in control of that game the entire game over South Carolina State, and South Carolina State came out and blew out Jackson State. So if you look at just the overall kind of margin of victory, FAMU should be number one off of that alone. But then when you actually watch the games and you see that Jackson State wasn't that much better on the field than FAMU, but FAMU was significantly better than South Carolina State. There's no way that South Carolina State can jump all the way to number one, even with the Celebration Bowl, and pass FAMU when they're not the better team, and that was shown. So with that marginal result against Jackson State, FAMU had to get that top spot.
That was for all of you people who want to see about what about on the field? What about on the field? That on the field. Anyway, I'll move on. Kelvin, your next question for Stan.
Stan, so now that the season is over for this year, I'm interested about your platform, and will your coverage go to other HBCU sports? Are you strictly football? Will are you doing recruiting? Just kind of, where do you see your platform going on NCAA.com?
Yeah, so probably not getting too much into recruiting unless it's another kind of Travis Hunter situation, number one recruit, kind of big news type of thing. Want to really stay away from recruiting just because they're not officially NCAA players in that aspect. But then when it comes to other sports, stay tuned for anything track and field related. Of course, I know NCAA, they have a pretty good track and field team on both the men's and women's side, so they'll probably get featured on the site a little bit here and there down the road as they have more success. And when it comes to HBCU basketball, of course, they did have the Legacy Classic last week, so a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as picking up coverage on that. But as things get rolling and things like that, there may be more HBCU coverage down the road. Not really anything finalized right now, but hopefully there can be some more down the road.
Kofi, go ahead and close us out if you would.
Hey, man. So obviously, first of all, just thank you for covering our HBCUs. Have you had an opportunity to go to any HBCU homecomings or any of the HBCU basketball tournaments?
Haven't been able to go to any basketball tournaments. I was able to go to Bowie State's homecoming a few years back. No homecomings this year, unfortunately, just with the coronavirus and things like that, trying to stay safe and things like that. But that is definitely on the list to get to some more of the HBCU homecomings and try to experience those games and those atmospheres from that perspective, as a more of an analyst perspective.
Well,
obviously, man, thank you so much.
You got an open invitation. I don't know what date in Tallahassee that FAMU will have our homecoming will be, but I'd probably guesstimate what are we usually, late October, guys? Is that when we normally kind of have it? Mid to late October?
Early or late?
Somewhere in October.
What'd you say?
Somewhere in October.
Okay, there we go.
Between the second Saturday and the last Saturday.
All right, so you can start planning now, Stan. Tallahassee, where you want. Go ahead and reserve some hotels now. Go ahead and book your hotels those weekends in Tallahassee, You can always get rid of them later. Somebody will buy them, whether it be a Florida State person or whatever. But go ahead and book them now. And we want you to come join us at FAMU Homecoming in 2022. You know, you can come, come tailgate with Section P, and then you can, experience because it's a beautiful thing. I mean, there's some other great homecomings around. You know, don't be fooled by what the folks at North Carolina A&T will try to sell you. Yeah, it's okay. It ain't the greatest on earth, but it's okay. But you will want to be in Tallahassee. I'm just gonna let you know you will want to be in Tallahassee in 2022. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely will try to make my way down there for that. And I think you guys will have a pretty good team again next year. I know you guys lose a couple of good defensive players like Marquise Bell and things like that, but the on the field should be pretty good next year as well.
Yeah, definitely will. And you'll want to be at that Orange Blossom Classic too. Jackson State, Florida A&M, Labor Day weekend, Miami Gardens, big showdown. So that's another one to circle. But again, Stan Becton, NCAA.com. Make sure you guys get over and check out all the coverage. Stan's doing some great work. The NCAA is doing some great work. Great coverage of not only FCS but of HBCU football and sports. So Stan, hey, thank you for your time this evening. And we look forward to talking. Anytime you got some info to share with us, let us know. We got a great platform here for you. Feel free to let us know, all right?
Yep, we'll do.
All right. We're going to take a break and come back. We might have, I think we got Scotty from OffScript coming up in the next segment or pretty close to it. So make sure to stay tuned. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Charmin Ultra so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. It's a pleasure to have the man, one of the hottest shows in Black college media, Scotty from OffScript. He's in the Rattler Den, Rattler Nation. We got him. We got him in the den. We got him. Look at him. There he is. Hey, Scotty, how you doing, my man?
And off camera, he did throw them fangs up.
Now you know you're lying. Now y'all saw. Go ahead and cancel it. Go ahead and cancel the show right now. Y'all lying.
His hands went up in the air. His hands went up.
Oh, man.
All you got to do is curve him to the front.
Not happening. But no, I appreciate you guys for having me on. Kofi been teasing me for the past 3 weeks. I've had him on my platform. He's like, yeah, we got to get you guys on the bowling strike zone. I'm like, yo, that's been like the last 3 weeks, bro. Like, what's going on? So all of a sudden now, I'm here, but I'm glad I'm here, though. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Hey, just to let people know, I mean, you've been doing this over the past year and a half, couple years now, and I was just kind of looking at the dates that you set. The show has grown into the thousands now. So props to that, man. You continue to grow your audience, and your audience is always engaged. That's the one part. We love the engagement. Let's give a little people a bit of the background on how you got into deciding to do a show, a sports-related show, but then more so gearing towards HBCUs and the swag. Give us a little background as you can on that journey.
So I've told the story numerous of times, and I never mind telling it. I was into pro sports, nothing college related for me. I was putting out content with a partner of mine who was on the show when I first started, and we kind of split. And then Cut Day, I know everybody knows Cut Day Sports. He does the condensed games and everything, like the highlights. He actually reached out to me. We were in a Black YouTube channel group together, and he was like, man, I really think that you would do well in the HBCU sport. I was like, bro, I don't know nothing about no HBCU sport. I don't even know. All I knew at that time was Bowie, Morgan, and Howard. That's all you was going to get from me. So he was like, nah, man, I really like your personality. I really think that, you could do well in this space. And honestly, the video I just posted today on my channel was actually the first ever video I did about HBCU sports. So it was a flashback to that. And I'm going from a guy getting like 10 views a video. Like, all right. So the first Deion Sanders video I dropped was 17,000. So I'm like, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm on. Let's get this thing rolling. So I've been HBCU ever since, man. And I've had my ups and downs with, learning. I've had people like Mr. Campbell in my background, BJ Jones, Mr. Kofi, Mr. D, Mr. Dannon, all these HBCU alums I call them my conscious committee that keep me on the straight and narrow of kind of like, don't step on that landmine. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's just they've helped me navigate. So I've grown, and it's getting real popular. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
So I feel like when you come into this, this space, there's an attraction to either the history or the culture and pageantry. Which one, or what has it been for you?
I would take the fandom. Take the culture and the passion that you guys have for your school is phenomenal. For you have the bands and all that type of stuff, and you have the events, but it's really the passion that people have for their school, and then the love affair of the people from the school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, that's my classmate. Yo, that's my man's. Like, I know this guy, and I can hook you up with that guy. And it's been a blessing because it's always somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and they always link up. And I think that's the coolest thing in the HBCU arena of how connected everybody is. And it's a true 6 degrees of separation, truly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your background, I haven't seen the show. I know you said you went to Claflin for a minute. You're from the Columbia area. What's your experience outside of your time with Claflin and just your, in terms of schools you went to, schools you dealt with? Give people a little background on that front.
All right, so a little background for me is I was actually born in Germany. My parents were Army. Both of my parents are Army enlisted, so I am an Army brat. I grew up in the DMV, Maryland. DMV, you're good with me. Let's get it, okay? So I went to Claflin for a year. I left there, went to University of New Haven, played football for them, and then after that, joined the service, and got out the service, and been living and started a YouTube channel.
Nice. Kofi, go ahead, fire away.
You just get so now I'm going. All right. So just really, man, what would you say has been I want to say your best and worst from your time here? Let's say best and worst of 2021 for you and HBCUs. All right, I'll give you a topic. Let's say best and worst team. Best HBCU team, worst HBCU team of 2021.
No, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Scotty, because Kofi, you're asking two different questions. Go with your first thought was best and worst experiences first, because I think that's probably different than teams.
Let's do them experiences.
Yes.
All right. So the best experience definitely had to be the Soul Bowl, Jackson State. That was, listen, man, that thing was packed to the rooter, to the tutor. It was people all the way to the top of the visitor stands packed. That was probably the best atmosphere. And a close second was the Southern Heritage Classic. Me and my girl went to that one in Memphis. That was a dope environment. Memphis was beautiful. The worst would have to be in Abena in FAMU against Valley. It was like the FAMU fans were legit. Man, listen, y'all bring the energy everywhere y'all go, man. The fans was, it wasn't packed, but they were into the game and stuff like that. But there weren't no tailgating. You could park right in front of the stadium. It was just a different experience because I'm coming from games where we got to leave 3 hours early just to make it. Man, we pulled up at Valley like 5 minutes before the game. We parked at the back of the stadium on the grass, and we just walked into the stadium. Like it's different, man. It'll be different, but it's fun though. It's fun. So that would be I'd be close to my worst. But I love Coach
cuisine. Okay, so I know you had to have eaten, right? So what was your best cuisine experience at an HBCU?
I'll tell you the worst was some of the Memphis, some of that Memphis, wasn't it Southern Heritage Classic, that Memphis? Listen, somebody told us to go to some barbecue spot. I ain't gonna put it out in public because I don't want to do that. But that was not good.
Memphis barbecue is overrated. You can go on and say it. It's cool.
It was not good at all. So it was a little shaky on that one. The best cuisine of Daytona, Bethune, the Bethune game. Listen, I had a funnel cake to die for off the beach. Oh, that funnel cake was so good. Listen, but Bethune Cookman had it on lock, bro. Listen, I can go back to Bethune anytime. That beach front, and you can just walk for miles and watch the beach, man. I don't do the sand and I don't do the ocean and stuff, but I'll just watch and I'll just walk.
Okay. So best dance line. I don't want to get you in trouble, but best dance line, worst dance line.
Girl, J-Sets, no. They the worst. Them Golden Girls from Alcorn, they the truth. Them girls, man, listen, they watched them girls at the Soul Bowl. Listen, I don't care what nobody say. First of all, who told them J-Sets to dance to Fame? That was just the wrong music to pick. Man, them Golden Girls, watch them girls, man. Oh my God, them girls are special. Now, that's some pageantry I like. I ain't gonna lie. Them girls are special. They special.
Who was it, Kofi? Who was it? Did you see Alabama State this year? Because Kofi, that was your preseason rank number one.
Preseason, but listen, the Golden Girls bring that energy, bro, just straight up. Now, if you go technique, you can look at what the Stingettes bring to the table. When it comes to energy and total presentation, the Golden Girls got it.
Hands down. Hands down.
Nice. Kelvin, jump in there.
So I thought I saw clips where you was you were in Atlanta, right?
I was at the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, and you was out. I also saw a clip where you was in Jackson State. It looked like you was having some very intense conversations with some of their fan base.
Well, I brought the
Talk
smoke.
about your interactions. You so popular now. A lot of people recognize who you are. Talk
Yeah.
about give me one or two of your best stories interacting with the fans of the different schools.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So I was at the Celebration Bowl. Matter of fact, shout out to Quentin. He bought me my tickets because I didn't want to go. He was like, man, you should go. And it was a great experience. Bought my tickets. Of course, they on the Jackson State side. They free, so I ain't got no choice. I picked South Carolina State, but you know, it is what it is. Man, I was giving them the business. I was giving them. When they went up 17-7, you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm swag surfing in the crowd. I'm over there. I got a lady's pom-poms from Jackson State. I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm singing A stuff. Man, listen, somebody was like, sit your butt down. I mean, they was hot, but I was giving them the business. That was a good one. That was a good one. Listen, I was there on the sideline of the shellacking that Alabama A&M got from Jackson State. Like, I'm talking about on the sideline. I'm standing next to the players. That was gruesome. I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Which players were you standing next to?
I was standing to some defensive players. And I'll say this. I won't say their name. I'll say this. They were like, man, we can't let them put 50 on you. He's like, we can't let them put 50 on us, man. No, we can't. I'm like, bro, the game over. Like, the game been over. I don't listen, bro. That game was up. Yeah, I was on the sideline for that one. I was like, oh, this is, whew. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. That was bad. That was really bad. But it was fun, though. It was fun overall.
So you as I've said, this is what I'm trying to figure out, because I know at the beginning when you met Dion, that seemed to be one of the big highlights of the year. Actually, that's kind of when I first started watching, because I had a good friend, Charles Edmond, tell me, he said, hey, have you heard of this guy OffScript? I'm like, no, I haven't heard of him. I said, who is he? So you got to go look him up on YouTube, check him out. And so he's a little bit different, but a little bit different for this space. But I'm telling you, he's kind of unique. So I went to look, and I went to watch the videos, the lead up to the meeting, and I'm like, hey, solid production. I mean, my man's putting everything into it. And so you had the meeting with Dion, and it just seemed like, now tell me, what is the relationship with Jackson State? Because it seemed like it was good, but somewhere it is soured. It feels that way. That's just my own words. You tell me, tell the truth. What's going on there?
Hey, I love the question. I get it a lot. So up to that interview, and my girl can contest to everything. I mean, she's my Roy. Like, I got y'all Roy. She's my Roy, right? So shout out to Roy. So, but everything was good. Everything was great. I interviewed Dion, and me and listen, like on the real, like me and Dion, we probably talk maybe like 3 times a month on Instagram, like legit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's no bad blood there, right? But there was some things that transpired after the interview that I was like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm transparent. So after the interview with Dion, his manager came up to me and my girl was like, yo, you're in a really good space with Dion. Like, that's like, I mean, anything you want from Dion, you probably can ask him, like, da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, and now, mind you, this is like my favorite player of all time. I'm wearing bandanas growing up. I'm high stepping it. I'm doing all that while I grew up. I mean, and me and my mom are Cowboys fans. So when I show my mom I interviewed Dion, she over there like, oh my God. So it was big. My family's from Texas. So I'm the king of my family. Do you know? Like, I just want to be very clear about that. So after that happened, every time I would do a show that would kind of criticize Jackson State, I would reach out to the manager and be like, is this okay? Is this okay? Because I didn't want to mess up that relationship. And I started feeling real. I'm like, nah, this ain't me. So I was just like, bump it. I'm sorry. If I lose the connect, I lose the connect. But I was like, I just got to be myself. So after that, I just, however I felt, that's what I said. So like I said, my girl calls it like, she's like, we're like second cousins. It's like we fight, but we like each other. You know what I'm saying? We cool. Jackson State people are really, really nice to me and my girl when we go to places and they see me. They like I was on Jackson State side taking pictures with Jackson State fans. They're like, man, I can't stay. Sometimes, Scotty, I hate you, man. So, boy, I hate you sometimes, but man, I love your show, man. I can't stop watching. That's usually what I hear. So I appreciate the love and everything like that. So it's cool with me, but that's what really happened. Like, you know, I didn't want to keep walking on eggshells around Jackson State and Deion. So I was like, man, if he don't like me, he don't like me. So it's just that simple.
Hey, that I can understand. I can understand that. Let's take it to the football field for a second, because that's the one thing that when I first met you was at the Bethune-Cookman game against Alabama A&M. Got a chance to sit next to you and your girl in the press box, and I got a kick out of the fact that, because trust me, we've been there when you get excited about seeing things, and then they're like, no, you can't cheer. And I'm like, I'm not cheering. And so I get it. It's crazy. The rules in the press box are sometimes, you know, they're ridiculous, but they are what they are, right? But I can tell in talking to you, I'm like, oh, my man knows football. I love talking to you because you pointed out some great things. And I think, talk a little bit about what you saw on the field in terms of the quarterback play amongst guys in the SWAC, going from Aqeel Glass down to Rashawn McKay, even Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I know I'm not saying to compare all three, but just in terms of quarterback play, be honest. You know, what was your take on what you saw this past season?
I think there was two echelons of quarterback. You had the top tiers with Aqeel and Shedeur, and then you kind of had a game manager, some game type manager quarterbacks. And when you're talking with Aqeel, I think he's at a pinnacle by himself, because he could never not show up for a game and expect his team to be in a game. And I said that all year, and people thought I was bashing Shedeur because, you know, he's having these good games and his stats or whatever. But I'm saying, you know, you give Aqeel a 8-16 game, they lose by 30 easy in the first. I mean, they lose by 30 off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Every point that Aqeel had to put up, his team needed it. And you can see that in the South Carolina State game. Every single point they needed, Aqeel had to put up. Texas Southern as well. Every single point they had to put up. Shedeur, I think he is poised beyond belief. I think he is going to be a problem as the time grows. He gets older, he gets more mature, and he starts understanding more and more of coverages. He's going to be a problem in the SWAC, and his dad is not going to not allow him to have the weapons that he needs around him to be great as well. So, you know, I think he's transcending. Rashawn McKay, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Coach Willie Simmons is a freaking he's a monster as a coach, because I would have put him out the pasture after the Orange Blossom Classic. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The boy was looking like he's seeing ghosts. I'm like, I was there. Now, I was at the game. I was at the Orange Blossom Classic. I'm like, man, who was in this quarterback competition? Like, I'm like, if this is what you put on the field, I could have played quarterback and got 50 yards, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But Willie sticking with him, grooming him, and me seeing Rashawn McKay at the Valley game, that really changed my whole perspective on him, because he never puts his head down. He never slumps his shoulders. He never sits in the corner and pouts. I don't care what mistake he did at that Valley game. He stayed right next to Willie. He got his butt chewing, and he stood right there. Talk to his teammates. Hey, I'm gonna get it right. Like, that's leadership at the quarterback position. So as much as I'm kind of skeptical in his play on the field, he is a leader. He is a leader of a team, a leader of men, and he's a great young man. And seeing him at Valley, and I was there with Mr. Campbell, I was like, yo, respect to Rashawn, because he did that thing, even with all the turmoil he was going through, still stood up. And Felix, man, Felix is special. Felix Harper is definitely another special guy. And Andrew Body. I think Andrew Body.
You gotta say it, man. You gotta say it.
You already know. I whipped off some bombs and stuff, but this ain't my channel. But you know, Andrew Body, if he gets the accuracy down, he's going to, because he can give you 250 in the air and he can give you 200 on the ground by himself. So he's probably, to me right now, the most dynamic quarterback in the SWAC. And then you got my man, Quincy Casey. Hey, listen, I don't care what nobody say. I was about to push the bomb. But
I saw you reach for it, right? You're like ready to.
I'm ready. Pow, but yeah, boom, boom, boom. We dropping them. But yeah, Quincy Casey, I feel like he has a great chance of of winning that job at Alabama A&M against Jaron Williams. And then, there's going to be a QB battle down in Valley as well with TJ Goodwin, the new kid. They got Jamari Jones and the guy they have, Quincy, down there as well. So it's going to be some good quarterback battles. But I'm really interested to see Rashawn McKay against the Vanderbilt guy. I've seen his huddle tape. That boy is different. I haven't seen his whole game, so I can't break him all the way down. But from what I saw of his huddle tape, he's definitely special.
Good point.
So what do you think about that quarterback battle at Mississippi Valley? What do you think about the new JUCO guy that's coming in?
Listen, and I'm gonna be honest. I talked to a couple coaches on the staff. If I'm being honest, I think he's there for competition, but he's not a day one starter. Like Coach Kitten Evans is a great offensive mind. He's a great quarterback coach. He's a great former quarterback, and when he played with coming up, great guy. But Jamari Jones, I'm being honest, if I was a quarterback in that room, I wouldn't be worried. You know what I mean? If you watch his whole film, he is super inconsistent. My comps for him were Corey Fields and Jawan Pass. If everything comes together, you're like, whoa, this could be great. But then you don't know what you're going to get in a game in, game out basis. The kid threw 4 touchdowns one game and then threw 4 NITs the next game. It's just the inconsistency of quarterback play. So for me, if I was a quarterback in that room and I had confidence in myself that most quarterbacks do, he wouldn't scare me. Not at all. I'd be like, okay, great. Another body. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would felt. I ain't going to lie to you.
So real quick, who's your favorite in the SWAC going into 2022 SWAC East? Top 3 SWAC East, top 3 SWAC West.
Jackson State, FAM, and Alabama A&M. Listen, man. Jackson State is still Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem with Jackson State fans is they were so enamored with winning, they never saw the deficiencies. I'm like, bro, your team is not perfect. By any means. We could go back from game 1 and I can show you all the deficiencies that have trended the whole season. It just hadn't been your deficiencies were your deficiencies. So, and I think for me, the reason I can't jump on the FAMU bandwagon is because I don't know what the quarterback position is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. If you guys had Ryan coming back, I'd be like, check me in for the FAMU. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are always going to have a solid defense. You guys are always going to play hard. And I think with the offensive minds of KJ Black and Willie Simmons, it puts you in. And listen, man, Connor Maynard is killing the portal, okay? That boy can shop. He can shop for some groceries any day. That boy is killing the portal. So those will be my top 3 in the West. And McNair, I trust. It's just that simple. I trust Frank McNair like nobody's business. He's legit. Next up will be Dooley, and then third, I'm giving it to Hugh because it's Hugh Jackson. So I feel like he's going to make some shake and move. And I've talked to my boy Blue. He said the guy that they brought in from UCLA he probably has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in the SWAC. And that's coming from an analytical guy of Blue, and Blue, you know what he's talking about. So I'm excited about that.
So they would run him over Grambling State. You think that moves Noah Bodden, or is that going to be a competition with Noah Bodden and this transfer from UCLA?
I think that's going to be probably the best quarterback competition that everybody's going to be focused on, because Noah Bowden was a guy sent to Grambling from a Grambling high school coach. Go here, go to Grambling. So now he's essentially a Grambling man, and now you're bringing in Hugh, who's bringing his guy from Cali. So you saw what Noah could be, and you think what he can be, and you have this kid Holloway as well. So I think it's probably going to be the most interesting quarterback battle in the SWAC, because of the simple fact of where they're going to go, how is Hugh Jackson, and then if Noah doesn't get it, does he go in the transfer portal? You know what I'm saying? Do you lose him? You see what I'm saying? So it's little things like that. And before you ask me another question, I'm Coach Willie Simmons. If you're still watching, I would love to have you on the channel. Just want to say that. But go ahead. Just want to cut that little nugget.
Kelvin, go ahead.
Scotty, who's the Black College National Champion and why for this season?
I'm going to go with what Kofi said. I think he said it perfectly. There's a co-national champion. I got it, because the reason I can't give it to anybody outright, because if we look at the 3, everybody done beat everybody. Everybody done beat a FAMU done beat South Carolina State like they stole something. Jackson State beat FAMU. Jackson State lost to South Carolina State. So I like what Kofi said. And if he didn't bring it up, I probably had to make it tough. I like that co-national champion thing. I would give it to a co-national champion with Jackson State and South Carolina State. That would be my co-national champions. I like that. Appreciate that, Kofi.
Co-national champ, South Carolina State and Jackson State.
I like that.
No FAMU, huh?
No.
Just for the record. Okay.
Yeah, just for the record. Because South Carolina State actually won the Celebration Bowl, and then Jackson State beat y'all. So it's like I can't really put y'all in that,
75?
But you want at the game.
You value. So you're valuing the Celebration Bowl and its place. Okay.
Yeah, I'm valuing because that's what everybody else does. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nobody cares about winning the MEAC. The best team in the MEAC was 6-5. They were 5-0. They were 5 on the MEAC, and they were 2-2 in the SWAC.
They almost came into the game 5-6. Let's just keep it real. They almost came in there 5-6. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, can't take the win out the win column. That's what you know. What I'm saying that's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. You doing it for us?
Yeah, because y'all didn't win. Y'all didn't get to the bowl. Listen, you know what? Let me tell you this though. Since y'all want to take it there, if you would have had a better showing in the playoff game, okay, then maybe I would have put you in the discussion of Black National Champions. But you got beat like a toddler stealing candy. Okay, I mean, like, what are we doing? So no, like, you got garbage time touchdowns. No, we're not doing that. I'm not putting y'all in no cold. Get out of here. Then you go, and then I got a post from y'all, from your head coach, talking about, can we go to the Gator Bowl? For what? So y'all can get beat to sleep? Y'all got beat to sleep by Southeast Louisiana. Y'all gonna get beat to sleep by Wake Forest. Man, y'all Rattlers need to stop, man. Y'all Rattlers need to stop.
Wake Forest doesn't play any defense. So it actually would be a shootout. I'm just
with who? A shootout with who?
Wake Forest.
Okay. No? All right. You must be starting the Vanderbilt kid.
Welcome to Rally Nation.
That's all right. You'll come around. Hey, let us know kind of what's the off season? I mean, because this has been an intense football season. What's the spring? Do you continue with the football theme? Do you transition into basketball? What are your plans as you take the show into 2022?
Man, that's a great question. I'm probably going to do a little basketball with just conference play. I'm probably focus. I'm not doing no out of conference. No, I'm not doing that. That's just too many games. I'm gonna try to focus on conference play basketball here and there. Definitely gonna have some interviews, and then I've started two new series called Hidden Gems, where me, BJ Jones, Blue Blood, we're gonna have, because kids send us their videotapes all the time, their huddle tapes and stuff like that. We want to give them the spotlight, not bring the actual kid on, but show their highlights, show the huddle, where we think they could play, what level we think they can play, just so maybe coaches can see it, whoever might watch my channel. And then I also have a series coming up called The Everyday Entrepreneur, where I'm interviewing either HBCU grads, VP, CEOs, people who own their own business, just to kind of get them promotion and talk about their struggles of, their wins, their losses, and things like that. So just trying to be creative, just trying to give people a platform so they can share their stories and things like that and grow from there. But yeah, try to stay busy this offseason, probably, and most likely some probably commit interviews and player interviews as well.
All right. Well, look, if you guys out there in Rattler Nation, if you're not subscribed to OffScript, you guys are missing out. I'm all the different YouTube channels I got. I make sure to subscribe. So I especially enjoyed the Confessions of a SWAC Official? I just saw that one the other day. That was beautiful, man. I tell you, the creativity continues. You keep upping the game. And so it's good. It's good for this space, and it challenges us. I've always said the more coverage, the better. And I think the more people that are talking about HBCUs, and you do it with not only the skill and the technical aspects of the game, the humor, you keep it real, no holds barred. I mean, and so all of that and the great interactions that you have, all that's good. it's all good for this environment, and that's how you get 48,000 people in the stands. That's how you have. I think what was the rating for the Celebration Bowl on TV? Wasn't it the most of all the college bowls?
Yeah, 2.59 million views or something like that, and plus it was the most attended bowl ever. I mean, in the first week of bowls. So yeah, we were killing it. Celebration Bowl was killing it.
So I mean, all of that continues to help, and now it's time for advertisers and everyone else to jump on board because there are people watching, and we continue to grow, and it's all a good thing, man. So it's good to have you in this space, Scotty. Love the content, love everything you put out there, and we just got to get you talking more positively about FAMU in the future. But we know that'll come. We are an acquired taste. We are an acquired taste. We understand that. Tell him, Kofi, right?
He finna throw up them strikes for long. Give it to 2022. By the end of 22, Scotty gonna be like this in his piece.
When we take down, when we take down Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic, that's all you got to give us. Is just.
You know what? I could probably do that for y'all. If that happens, I could probably do that for y'all. And me and my girl probably be in the stands at the game anyway. But real quick before I let you guys go, man, listen. I know this is like a professional channel. You know, a lot of professionals watch this. Listen, if you're a professional and you're part of the family, you want to like come on the Everyday Entrepreneur, please reach out to me. All right. All my stuff is on my YouTube channel. All right. Please reach out. I know y'all got big money out here in FAMU. That's what Mr. Campbell told me. He's like, y'all got the money. So all the real professionals, come holler at me. That's what Mr. Campbell tells me. I'm just telling you.
All right. Go ahead and pub if you don't know where to find Scotty, let them know where they can find you, Scotty.
Man, you can find me on YouTube, OffScript, all right? www.youtube.com/OffScript, or you can just type in OffScript, so whatever, however you want to do it. You can find me on Twitter and IG, OffScript_TV. All right, listen, if you're not for the smoke and you're not for the petty, I am not your type of guy, okay? Listen, if you want the CNN, that's not me, okay? No,
if you get offended easily, don't watch.
Don't watch. Listen. You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't tune in. I'm just telling you that right now. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings, so you're gonna save yourself the heartache. That's all I'm saying.
Well said. Well said.
All right. Shout out to you, Roy. Shout out to you, man.
Hey, definitely appreciate you, Scotty. Kofi, last words, man. Last words of 2021. How you want to finish it, man?
Oh man, last words of 2021, man. First, just giving thanks for all the people that made it through freaking 2021. There are a lot of people that died and didn't make it through 2021. So we have an opportunity to first say thanks. The opportunities that came in 2021, the great, I want to say, influx of favor, and I think a lot of people saw an increase in 2021 as we transition into 2022. So I just want to encourage everybody as we prepare to go in. Obviously, FAMU is that #1 HBCU. FAMU is that #1 public HBCU. We want to thank everybody that tuned in and watched us. God bless Scotty, man. I mean, that's a connection that I did not have in early 2021 that came about, and I believe that God is in it. And I want to just encourage everybody to support HBCU sports year round. Love football, but in order for us to get to the next level, we need y'all in the basketball stands. We need y'all in the baseball stands. We need everybody giving. We need everybody participating. It's time to make the shift to put HBCUs where we belong. And if that's going to happen, it takes all of us, people, all of us.
Well said. Well said. Kelvin, how do you want to close out 2021?
Well, it was a very exciting year in HBCU athletics with football season, the new SWAC realignment. And so there's a lot to be excited about. You know, we had a Why Not Us. We had, Jackson State killing it with attendance. You got Dion, you got Hugh, and, we just have so much positivity going on. And we have more coverage than we've had in a long time with different platforms. So everybody continue to support HBCU athletics financially, as well as just not just buying tickets, but join the organizations, subscribe to the different channels and so forth. Now, outside of that, happy holidays, everybody. Protect yourself. This COVID is real. It's coming back. So, wear your mask, take the right precautions. And last but not least, congratulate the HBCU National Champions for 2021, co-champions, the Florida A&M Rattlers.
Rattlers! Rattlers! Rattlers!
Yo, trip.
Hey, I will close it by just saying doing this show with you, Calvin, and Kofi is a dream come true. I was trying to do this type of show all the way back in 1998, 20-something years ago. I, at that time, it was just a website trying to tell more of the story of FAMU athletics and FAMU football. And then when Roy and I got into doing this podcasting and Black College Sports Network, I was always like, I got to do this FAMU thing. Eventually, we'll find the people to do it, who want to do it, who want to invest in doing it, and getting you guys to be a part of this and giving your time and energy and efforts and all the connections and all the coaches, the players, the different people that we've talked to over the course of our Wednesdays together. This is a dream, man. And I can't wait for 2022. Thank you to everybody who has watched our show, who's come up to any of us at a game or anywhere to just give us your thoughts. We appreciate all of them. Continue to let us know what we can do, who we can talk to. There's some great stories out there. We want to continue to tell the story and continue to keep this thing moving forward in 2022. We start the campaign. The call to action from our coach has already been put out there, so we got to help lead the charge. So that's it. I'm truly blessed and thankful to have all of you guys and to be a part of the Black College Sports Network with Roy, another Rattler. We live in the dream and can't wait for 2022. So everybody out there watching us, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at, you guys be safe. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2022. Oh, I thought that was two fingers doing this way. Oh, you almost did it. I thought you did. No, okay.
You put them two fingers there.
Got it.
No, did like this. How did it go, Kofi? Bowl, strike, bowl again. How what is it? Don't forget the bowl.
Strike. We want you to go out there and strike
again.
Strike and strike again, Rattler Nation. Be safe. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Peace out.